When you understand the scale of energy, you can read any room, any person, any event, whether it's high vibe or low vibe, and how to shift it. The Levels of Energy audiobook explains it all, and it's available by direct link on hightimelinebooks.com or Audible or Apple Books. Learn to read energy today. Levels of Energy by Fred Dodson and narrated by me. Welcome to the Fun Astrology Podcast for kicking off a new week on April 28th, Monday. Hi, everybody. Thomas Miller, thank you so much for joining us. I mentioned on Saturday's financial episode, we don't have a lot of aspects this coming week, but the ones we do are counters. And speaking of counters, we have somebody who matters a lot to me, and that is Kristin Lawhead. Hi, Kristin. Let's talk about lucky stars.
Hello, Thomas and Fun Astrology Podcast. Happy Monday. Today is a lucky day. It is a glorious continuation of the Taurus new moon yesterday, and this energy will continue through tomorrow. By Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we're looking at more cautionary energy. So definitely be using these next 2 days to the fullest to find lucky stars days for May. Join the Lucky Stars Club. Thomas and I can't wait to see you there. I hope you all have a great week.
Thanks, Kristin. You have a great week, too. Before we move forward, I'd like to take one quick step back. On Friday, we focused on Pluto and Mars, and I didn't mention that we did have the new moon on Sunday. That happened at 3:30 yesterday in Taurus, which, of course, is ruled by Venus, which, of course, is happy because it's exalted in Pisces. But Venus isn't happy because Venus has to leave Pisces on Wednesday and move into Aries. But yesterday's new moon was overshadowed, if you will, by happy Venus because it happened in Taurus. The sun and the moon together in Taurus at 7 degrees. So all of these characteristics of Venus leaving Pisces, moving into Aries, which it's going to do this week, and conjoining Neptune, which it does this week as well, all of that is encompassed and packaged into that new moon. So there's a lot of really good creative juice that you can grab onto with that new moon. If you didn't get anything done yesterday or over the weekend around it, you still have time today. Go for it. Just do it. Intentions, creations, manifestations, all of the above. Now, nothing in the sky over our heads today. Nothing exact. We do still have that beautiful Taurus moon, which, by the way, will go void, of course, early in the morning overnight and move into Gemini before you wake up in the morning. Kristin will be here tomorrow, and then Tracy Arnold. You know, if you've been watching our weekly videos, you've seen Tracy do some of these additions that she's been sharing with us. Well, she's going to be doing Wednesday for us while I continue to get my life re-squared back away, which is going beautifully. But Tracy volunteered to come in on Wednesday, and so we're going to get to hear from her about Venus moving into Aries. Like I said, they don't happen very frequently this week, but when they do. So Wednesday, Venus moves into Aries. On Thursday, Kristin will talk about the North Node and Uranus coming together. And then on Friday, like I said, Neptune is right there at the door of Aries, and Venus kisses Neptune right on the lips, mwah, on her way by at 1 degree Aries. Then we'll put this together in a second. But the other big one this week is Pluto going retrograde. That happens on Sunday. Not as big of a deal as the personal planets like a Mercury going retrograde because it spends about half the year in retrograde anyway. This one is 5 months into mid-October. But it does give us pause and time to regain our personal power. Just think of that. Think of focusing now on your personal power. How much have you scattered your personal power hither and yon? Is hither a word? No. But how much have you scattered your personal power about? Well, use the next 5 months to gather it back up. Focus, seek out, look for, enjoy, embrace personal transformation. I got to tell you, from somebody who turned their life around radically late in life, my story is laid out in detail in the Subconscious Mind Mastery podcast. I would absolutely embrace personal transformation any and every time. People don't like the idea of Pluto causing death and rebirth. Well, if you don't go through the death, you don't get the rebirth. And I have to say, the experiences and the years that caused the Thomas Miller that you listen to now to be reborn were not fun. They were painful. They were difficult. But were they worth it? 1,000 times yes. That's the spotlight when Pluto goes retrograde. How can you not have the painful part? Just go for it. Just comply. Just work with the universe. God had to get my attention. Don't do that. Don't do it that way. Just be compliant. Just roll on in with ease now and don't push against the changes. Sit down with your journal and say, Lord, here am I. How shall I be better? Now, we're going to have some really good advice from Kristin and Tracy coming up this week on this Venus path. So I'm going to leave to them to fill in the details each day. But what I'm seeing with this is that Venus moves right out of Pisces and hits Neptune, which represents everything Pisces. So for Venus, that Piscean vibe doesn't change, except we have all those characteristics of Aries that we talked about on Friday related to Mars. All of those A words of ambition and action and alertness. There's an extra power to the Venus-Neptune combination, which is a good combination. So it's an aspect to be enjoyed and embraced. So taking everything that you love and taking all of that, the spiritual characteristics. And have you noticed how things are changing around the world a little bit? And you notice how that correlates with Neptune moving into Aries? You cannot make this stuff up, folks. So enjoy and embrace the change. That's my advice. Love this energy of Venus conjoining Neptune at the very beginning of the world point in the chart, the point of origination. If you're not getting the picture that this is a great time to be working on yourself, well, then just try it. Throw it out there. I think you'll get a good result. And if you do, leave a comment in the YouTube channel and say, hey, I took your advice and look at what happened. All right, you guys have a great Monday. I'll see you back on Friday. Enjoy the ladies in between. And I'm sending you lots of love for a great week ahead. Thanks so much for listening.